No one in Corncob Creek, Iowa, expected the sky to unzip. One breezy Tuesday morning, a green-edged seam appeared over the courthouse cupola, crackling like a neon zipper. From it popped something that looked at first like a softball wearing designer leather. The thing landed in the gazebo with an elegant plop, rolled twice, and announced in velvety baritone, temporal coordinates acquired approximately 42 degrees north, 93 west, year of the squirrel. The farmer's market crowd stared, jaws swinging like saloon doors. 3 toddlers clapped. Old Mrs. Hafferty fainted neatly into a box of radishes. The object righted itself, revealing an upright avocado with little bronze goggles perched where eyebrows might have been. A steampunk wristwatch circled its equator like a belt. "Greetings, carbon-based bipeds," it said. "I am Percy Americana number 7, chrononaut of the Orchard Intelligence Agency. Please direct me to your leader or your ripest tomato." Sheriff Burt Wilcox stepped forward, mustache vibrating. He had wrestled raccoons, tornadoes, and one disgruntled Elvis impersonator, but never a talking fruit. He tipped his hat. "Well, sir, ma'am, whatever. You might be a week early for the VeggieTales puppet show." Percy adjusted his goggles. "Clarification? I am not a puppet. I am a self-actualized avocado from the 23rd big century, where produce governs wisely." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Someone whispered, "That'd still be better than Earl Butterfield." Butterfield, Corncob Creek's mayor for 19 sleepy years, was currently fishing at Mud Puddle Pond, unaware that a sentient, fat, rich berry planned on upending his unopposed reign. Town Councilwoman Rita Hummel, opportunistic as a raccoon near a trash bin, seized the moment. "Citizens, look at this! Diplomat, he asked to see our leader. Well, Earl's out snagging catfish, and the special election's next month. What if we—" "Hear me out, draft him! Imagine the tourism!" Sheriff Wilcox opened his mouth to object, but the avocado adjusted a dial on his belt, producing a whooshing breeze scented faintly of cilantro. The sheriff's hat sailed away like a frisbee. The crowd cheered. Draft papers appeared faster than you could say "holy guacamole." Persia hadn't traveled centuries to become mayor of an accidental postcard town. He was originally sent to 1987 Cupertino to stop a catastrophic salsa shortage. The time stream, however, tends to slingshot errors. Before he could protest, Rita pinned a "Hello, I'm a candidate" sticker on his peel. The paperwork listed Persia A. Avocado as mayoral hopeful. His platform remained blank, so a helpful teenager scribbled "free dip for all" in glitter pen. The joke spread across Main Street like warm butter on cornbread. Election month arrived. Earl Butterfield thought the whole thing was an elaborate county fair prank until debate night, where he found himself on stage against a fruit in goggles. Earl delivered his usual stump speech: repair the water tower eventually, widen Elm Street someday, while Percy merely projected a hologram of tortilla chips orbiting the town like moons. Voters swooned. On election day, turnout tripled. People arrived carrying salt shakers as a show of solidarity. Percy won 312 votes to Earl's 96, with 5 ballots mysteriously filled out for Sasquatch. Corncob Creek awoke next morning to a press release printed on biodegradable snack packets. Subject: modernization, poly initiatives. Objective: convert town into guacamole-centric utopia. Item 1, proposed repurposing the underused municipal pool as the world's first guac lagoon, featuring whirlpools stirred by oversized lime-shaped paddles. Item 2, rebranded the annual Butter Churn Festival as Mashathon, encouraging residents to mash avocados for community bonding. Item 3, mandated that every public building reserve 15% of square footage for chip dispensaries, so citizens might never be more than 30 steps from a crispy triangle. Council meeting attendance skyrocketed. The town clerk, Doris Klingel, read each ordinance while trying not to drool. Earl Butterfield protested the costs, waving spreadsheets like surrender flags. Percy countered by revealing slick charts projected from his watch, demonstrating that guacamole tourism could outperform even the venerable world's largest ball of Sisseltwine 2 counties over. He forecasted Tex-Mex pilgrimage buses, influencer selfies, and a Netflix docu-series tentatively titled Diptown, U.S. The council voted 4-1 in favor, with Earl dissenting and muttering, Mark my words, that fruit'll spoil. Construction began instantly. Percy whipped out a handheld time accelerator, a device resembling a pepper grinder that sped up labor to montage speed. Soon the pool was drained, lime green plaster poured, and tanker trucks from California arrived laden with avocados. Guac Lagoon opened with a ribbon cutting performed by Percy's own pit, which he'd unscrewed and repurposed as ceremonial scissors. Swimmers happily waded through creamy depths, emerging slick as spa clients. A lifeguard, armed with a giant pita chip float, patrolled the surface. The local paper splashed the headline, "We're spreading success." With taste buds tickled, Percy tackled energy reform. He installed pedal-powered molkajets outside City Hall. Citizens generated electricity by grinding stones, rewarded with small scoops for every kilowatt hour. The school lunch program shifted from mystery meat to build-your-own burrito stations. Even the library embraced the theme, issuing new library cards shaped like lime wedges. Check out a book, get a dab of spicy verde on the side. Yet not everyone found life diptastic. The smell of endless avocado attracted wildlife. Squirrels, chipmunks, and one adventurous moose descended, believing they'd found the promised land. Residents awoke to find front porches coated in little paw prints and bite marks on garden gnomes. Moreover, property values wobbled. Houses now matched Zest Green's city aesthetic whether owners wanted or not. Banker Todd Bleecker grumbled that mortgages couldn't be collateralized against condiments. At a tense town hall, Earl Butterfield led the anti-guac caucus. "Our baseball field looks like a salad bowl," he thundered. "Kids play shortstop and ankle-deep dip. The umpire slipped on cilantro last night and called everybody safe." Persea remained calm, voice smooth as chilled crema. "Progress requires adjustment, dear Earl. Did Thomas Edison stop when folks complained his light bulbs attracted moths? Nay, he invented screens." The crowd pondered. Someone shouted, "We could invent avocado-proof boots." Persea beamed. The clock cooled to simmering grumbles. While modernization continued, Persea spent evenings in the clock tower tinkering with his temporal belt. He felt a soft pressure along his rind, a reminder he was ripening. A chrononaut's worst fear was over-ripening before the mission concluded. He calculated he had precisely 11 days before he crossed from firm to mushy. Accelerating town success became imperative. He launched Guanomics 101, free night classes teaching locals how to monetize avocado byproducts. Skincare masks, biodegradable phone cases, musical maracas made from hollowed pits. Teenage entrepreneur Kendra Smoot patented an avocado oil skateboard lubricant that made national news. Tourism exploded. Buses painted like oversized corn chips filled the parking lot. The hardware store sold out of green paint, while the diner reported that adding lime zest to its famous pie increased profits by 43%. Even skeptical banker Todd Bleecker began wearing chartreuse ties emblazoned with tiny avocados. Yet popularity breeds rivalry. The neighboring town of Dillweed Junction, famous for its pickle fare, accused Corncob Creek of culinary plagiarism. Its mayor, Claudette Brine, challenged Persea to a dip-off at the county line. Guacamole versus brine-aged pickle relish. Media trucks arrived. Persea accepted, insisting on adding a time-travel flair round. Judges tasted each dip while holographic tumbleweeds rolled and mariachi robots played. Persea's concoction, a swirl of century-aged pepper and quantum lime won, unanimously when Claudette's relish corroded a spoon. Claudette vowed revenge by adding avocado slices to her pickles, which instantly turned brown, triggering public humiliation. Back home, Chipmunk Influx Phase 2 hit. The little critters discovered the reservoir of avocados behind the high school and formed what local biologists called the first Rodentian guac cult. They built tiny altars from Fritos and worshipped at dawn. Persea, although flattered, recognized ecological imbalance. He convened a cross-species diplomacy summit, speaking fluent Chipmunkian clicks thanks to a translator app. Agreement was reached. The town would allocate weekly chip truck deliveries to the rodents in exchange for them aerating soil at the community garden. Thus began Chipmunks for Chips, a beloved volunteer group. Meanwhile, Earl Butterfield organized a recall petition. "He's turning us into a snack," he bellowed. Signatures rolled in from those angered by perpetual green fingerprints on laundry and rising prices of non-avocado groceries. Percy assessed 62% recall risk and decided to spotlight long-term benefits. He escorted townsfolk 5 hours into the future using the belt's preview mode, letting them glimpse bustling streets lined with artisanal dip shops, jazz bands playing guac punk fusion, and property values soaring like helium balloons. When they returned, many signed withdrawal forms citing optimistic aroma. By day 9, Percy felt a slight squish under his peel. Time pressed, he unveiled his masterstroke, Guacamapalooza, a 3-day festival with live bands, cooking contests, and a record-setting simultaneous lime squeeze. A Guinness adjudicator named Nigel flew in wearing emergency plastic poncho. The festival promised to cement Corncob Creek as the nation's avocado apex before Percy's impending mushitude. Townsfolk hustled with zeal, stringing up banners made from tortilla strips lacquered for durability. Yet supply threatened to run short, an unexpected pit we'll call the Great Avocado Bottleneck. A shipping strike in California stalled incoming fruit. Panic loomed. Without enough avocados, Guacamapalooza would become Banageddon. At midnight, Percy made a grave decision: travel back to ancient Mesoamerica, borrow heirloom avocados, and return minutes later. He scribbled a note, "Gone to 7000 BCE, back before breakfast," and leapt into the vortex. Temporal navigation under ripening stress is tricky. Persia overshot by several centuries, landing smack in a 1974 roller rink during disco night. He bagged the only available avocados, sold as exotic party favors, and also a pair of glittering skates for flair, before finally making it to 7000 BCE, where early farmers happily traded crates of fist-sized fruit for a Walkman he'd picked up at the rink. Layering time stacks like tortilla stacks, he zoomed home, arriving 5 minutes before festival gates opened, skates still on, trailing primordial dust. Guacamapalooza was an epic swirl of zesty triumph. The simultaneous lime squeeze shattered records, with Nigel drenched and delighted. Drone footage captured a green tidal wave sloshing across Main Street, spelling Corncob Creek in cursive ripples. Social media erupted. Time-traveling avocado trended above celebrity divorces. Food critics from Chicago declared the town the new Napa Valley for dip. Even Earl Butterfield, wearing a poncho labeled former hater, admitted the festival was pretty dang okay. Yet Percy's internal clock ticked past ripe into dangerously soft. That evening he addressed the town from a stage shaped like a mortar. "Beloved bipeds, my mission is nearly complete, and my pulp is near pudding. Leadership, like guacamole, is best before brown spots. I must depart to compost heroically in my own era." Gasps rippled. Children begged him to stay. Adults wondered who'd continue the mash. Persia, tearing up tiny flecks of cilantro, produced the mayoral gavel, now carved from his own pit, and handed it to librarian Marlene Stutz, whose organizational skills outclassed any smartphone. "Lead with imagination," he advised, "and keep the lime flowing." He activated the belt. Lime-scented wind whooshed. Confetti of tortilla bits twirled, and in a soft pop, he vanished. The sky resealed, blinking like a content cat. All that remained was a single leathery chunk, an avocado peel shaped vaguely like a smile. Months later, Corncob Creek thrived. Guac Lagoon added a water slide shaped like a falling tortilla chip. The high school adopted the Fighting Avocados mascot. A bronze statue commemorated Persia, goggles aloft, wristwatch humming eternally. Tourists posed, imagining they heard his voice whisper, "Avoid overmixing. Leave some texture." In town lore, the day the sky unzipped is celebrated with fireworks that burst green and smell faintly of cumin. Earl Butterfield opened a souvenir shop selling "I Got Beat by a Fruit" t-shirts, becoming wealthy enough to finally widen Elm Street. Rita Hummel ran for state senate on a platform of empowering produce, winning handily. Chipmunks, for chips, earned a conservation award, their burrows now part of an educational trail. Banker Todd Bleecker launched the nation's first Dipcoin cryptocurrency, pegged loosely to the price of Haas futures. And somewhere in the vast folds of time, perhaps reclining on a sunlit cutting board in 2450, Persia Americana No. 7 lounges half-pit, half-legend, monitoring pulsing pulses. Whenever a town council falls into sleepy routines, he twitches his belt, ready to slide through the cosmic zipper with a zesty grin, for he knows progress, much like guacamole, is best served fresh, unexpected, and with a generous side of laughter.